Live from MMA Fighting Studios, this is Between the Links. And now, your host, Mike Heck.
The iconic voice of Esther Lynn welcomes you to a brand new edition of BTL. We are back, and happy Thursday to us all. A lot to discuss today. We were supposed to have some more MMA fighting family competition. Unfortunately, that is no longer the case. Jose Youngs was scheduled to make his return, but for some reason, his water pipes decided, F that, not happening today. So his kitchen at his apartment in New York City is underwater right now. So he's got a plumber coming like right as the show was starting. He was going to have to take some time away to let the plumber know what was happening, all that stuff. So it would have been weird and random if that had happened. So Jose is going to be back on next week, which means we're going to do a little Q&A this week. And joining me to answer your incredible questions, let us say hello to Mr. No Gray Area, the hot take kid himself, the climber of climbers, although he's more limping his way up the mountain these days, but he's still ascending. He's still moving forward. He's back from vacation, the one and only Jed Bashu from MMAfighting.com with a fresh new haircut. Hey, buddy.
You know, after the devastation that was falling off the mountain, we decided to change the look, right? Just cut it off. Let's go playoff season. Now we're not cutting the hair until we climb the mountain. Don't hold me to that. We'll see how that goes. Good to be back, you know. Had a much needed vacation, feeling refreshed. I missed out on some stuff. I did watch the main event and a couple of other fights from last week, so we can talk all about Abu Dhabi and my big, beautiful violence goofball. And ready, just happy to be back, guys. Let's have some fun.
Yes, it's great to have you back. Casey is here as well on the ones and twos. He was preparing for some more production, I guess, like the infighting, but now he's here to join in on the conversation. Where is he? Are there sleeves? Are there no sleeves? No sleeves. Hello,
Big
Casey.
day. Hi everyone.
How are we
Good to be
doing?
here. Doing fine. Nice Thursday morning. Beautiful Southern California where the weather is always beautiful. So yeah, having a great time.
Sounds terrible.
Yeah.
Always
so,
nice weather. Who wants that?
Yeah. I had to wear like a hoodie last night. I was like, ooh, it's kind of chilly tonight. Yeah.
I'm so sorry for the struggles you have to go through, Casey.
Yeah.
It's like a billion degrees here and has been for like a week and a half, but luckily
It's actually not as bad here. Last week in the hills of Alabama, oh boy, was it hot. But, you know, it's okay here.
Yeah. It's a little less steamy. It was like, it's going to be like 97 today with like I think a heat index of about 114.
That's a bit warm. That's
It's
a bit
toasty.
warm.
But we just got to get
Someone
to the
who
weekend.
grew up in the low country, that's still quite warm.
That's
Yes.
tough. That's tough. Yeah.
Yeah, tough scenes. Jed, while you're here, you mentioned your violence son, one of your favorites, Reinier de Ridder, and it was good to because we're going to do you versus Jose, and it's always nice to have some MMA fighting versus MMA fighting competition coming off of an event where neither of you guys were actually covering the event. Like Jose didn't cover it, you weren't covering
that's
it.
right.
It's nice to get some like fresh perspective on things, but at least you're here, and I'm glad you're here because Reinier de Ridder, one of your favorites, beats Robert Whittaker. Very close fight, a very fun fight. Both guys are hurt. Both guys are nearly finished in the fight, and RDR gets the splitty. He's a serious player at 185 pounds. The man did it, and now we are closer than ever, at least in this wild universe of ours, in this middleweight universe. We are so close to RDR versus DDP, Jed. The fight that you have put out into the universe. I know there's others out there that are taking credit for this, and it's like
No,
this
they
idea
came late to the party.
Yeah, it's like this idea just came to them. Oh yeah, I'm brilliant. No. This has been you for like a year. This has been you
Over a year.
since DDP made his debut and beat Gerald Mearshart. We were on this road to RDR versus DDP and the fun violence that it could give to fans around the world. And now, Jed, we are one step closer. Your reaction to what RDR did on Saturday, the scoring of the fight, And how close are we to the stream matchup?
Look, I try not to gatekeep stuff because, like, there are a lot of people with a lot of takes out there, you know, like people believe all sorts of things. And so I'm rarely going to be like, I was the first person on this island or this corner. Like I did it with Juliana Pena upsetting Amanda Nunes because I literally did not see another human being alive pick that one. And I'm going to do, like, this is me, guy. Like, I'm happy that everyone has come to this party, but both of these two bozos, I want to say, the earliest adopter of both DDP and RDR. I know for a fact I was the earliest adopter of RDR because I'm literally the reason he started getting ranked in our rankings. Like, so these are my two, you know, medium-sized violent sons, and I want, like, it's not close. There is no fight I want more in the sport. You know, we could talk DDP Yuri, like that gets me excited, but there's no, like, you could give me a time machine and infinite money and be like, Jed, do you want to see John Jones versus Francis Ngannou at their peak? Do you want to go back and fantasy match make GSP Anderson Silva or Fedor versus Brock? Nah. Give me DDP RDR. It is the fight I'm like a 100% when this happens, I will go. I don't care where it is. Jose can take that week off. I'm flying to Timbuktu if that's where they're putting this damn thing because I must be in attendance. I cannot, and I think I know how that fight's going to go, but I cannot wait. It is the best. It's just my favorite thing that is happening. These two dudes being so goofy and so good at fist fighting. Like, I love it so much. DDP, like, Casey knows this. We've talked about it on shows. Like, I love that DDP looks like he doesn't know how to fight. It makes me so happy. And RDR actually, like, looks kind of like he knows how to fight, but he looks like he's the least athletic person maybe to walk the face of the earth. And yet he is out there just kneeing Robert Whittaker in the guts and beating him up. I did not watch the fight live. We don't need to talk about what I was doing. I didn't watch it live, but I caught it about an hour later. I went back and caught a replay of it. And then I've watched it again. If you want to score it for Whittaker, I think that's not unreasonable. I had it 3-2 RDR. I thought it was pretty straightforward, right? Like, Whittaker was would have gotten a 10-8 in the round that he almost killed RDR, but for the fact that he lost like 4 of the 5 minutes pretty convincingly. And then he just, like, he was hurt immediately before he just kind of winged a hope and a prayer, and it clubbed RDR and nearly killed him. And so, like, I thought that was a pretty clear 10-9 to me. And, just a straightforward 3-2 RDR, get it done, advance and move on. And, I listened to on to the next one. I listened to the post show. I think you might be right in that we may not be going RDR DDP. I can't be objective about this, Mike. That's the fight to make next. Like, assuming if DDP loses to Hamzat, which he won't, then we're no questions asked. 1,000% that's the fight that you make. When DDP wins, still just think you make that fight. Do Kyle Brahalio and Nasruddin Imavov, does the winner of that deserve it more? Sure. Do I care? Not at all. Like, we got to do this. Give the people what they want. And the thing, I'm going to circle this all the way back to where I started, Mike, because the thing that made me the happiest on Saturday, as I am going through social media, watching the fight, etc., everybody's on board. Like, I believe I started it, but man, the community is really, really on board to watch these two goofballs go do violence to each other. And we should give the community what they want. Let's do it.
I love it. I would love to see this next. I just don't know if we're going to get it, but I do think
DDP wants it.
He might. And, RDR is saying like the right things. He's got like such a dry sense of humor, kind of like DDP, but DDP's just way colder with the things that he says. Like, they're both just low key, terrific promoters.
Two Dutch weirdos.
Fight
it's
builders.
The best.
It's very fun.
Dutch weirdos.
I actually think the biggest losers on Saturday are not even Robert Whittaker. I think it's Kyle Bahalio and Nasruddin Imavov. I think they needed Robert Whittaker to win that fight and just knock RDR out of the conversation. And then it was a clear path for them. Because here's what I think the UFC is going to do upon reflection, what we've seen over the past few days. There's obviously a way better case for Bahalio or Imavov, whoever wins that fight, to get the next title shot. And a meritocratic universe in the Bellator world that we once lived in would get it. Paulo Costa, if Khamzat Chimaev wins the belt, there is a very real world where they'll just go to the Paulo Costa fight because there's such heat there. And it makes absolutely no sense. It's absolutely ridiculous. But the UFC might just do RDR versus Costa next. And then the winner would just leapfrog one of those two dudes.
Because RDR will beat Costa, and that would be dope.
Yeah, because no one there is outside of maybe Casey, because he's been the driver of the Nasruddin Imavov train for quite some time.
It's very good.
If Imavov beats Kyle Bahalio, but then DDP goes out or RDR goes out and finishes Paulo Costa, there is no chance that Nasruddin Imavov is getting a title fight over RDR. Just no chance. Zero in today's UFC.
If Imavov just obliterates Bahalio, I'm open to it. Because at that point, it's just everyone should want him to do it. He is the most deserving contender right now. He's frankly more deserving than Khamzat is. But they were never going to do that. And that's fair. If Imavov blows up Bahalio, then they should just do that. But I don't care about what is fair or just. I just want to see these two bozos fight. And the last two dudes who have beaten Robert Whittaker have gotten title shots. Let's make it 3 for 3. And look, if Khamzat wins, again, he's not gonna, but if he does, problem solved. If he does and you don't book these two in a 5-round main event somewhere, it is promotional malpractice, and I will be writing a strongly worded letter. But you should still do it when DDP wins, because it will be by far the most fun any of us will ever have.
God, the argument for an immediate rematch if Khamzat wins the belt, off the charts. You're going to be. It
depends on how he does it, though, because I think most people and a lot of fighters have come out with this take, think that if Khamzat's going to win, he's going to Robert Whittaker him. He's going to blow him up in the first 7 minutes or whatever, take the back, choke him out, whatever it is. If he does that, that's a really hard sell for an immediate rematch. If he wins, if Khamzat wins a nip tuck affair that comes down to the 5th, then they'll probably do an immediate rematch.
Is there any chance you think they could do DDP versus RDR with DDP losing?
100, they should 100% do that if DDP loses. It's 5-round main event somewhere.
Win or lose, you think?
Win or lose, I would make that fight next.
That's what I'm saying. Win or lose, basically. Yeah. Yeah, unless I guess DDP gets
lose. I think is much if DDP loses, I think it's much more actually likely. I think I side with y'all and think that he's probably not getting the next title fight. I wouldn't say never, and I wouldn't say it's a 0%er, because I do kind of think that the next middleweight challenger is going to be hey, who says yes at this time, right? And so and I think RDR will say yes. I don't think he's going to be he seems to be a dude who's yeah, cool. As long as he can make the weight and it's not next week or whatever, because he's a huge dude. So I think that it's not 0%, but if DDP loses, I don't know why you would book any other fight beside this one. It would be ludicrous to do so.
The biggest problem, though, unfortunately, for the title picture and for Imavov and Bahalio is that neither of these guys are very active fighters. DDP fights once, maybe twice a year. Khamzat fights once a year if we're lucky. If we get him once every 2 years, just based on what he's had to do over the past 4 or 5 years, that's a blessing for Khamzat Chimaev fans. So the more time between because this title fight's happening in 2.5 weeks, and then it's going to be over, and then we're going to get to Paris, and then we still have plenty of time for them to do RDR versus Costa or something, and it's just going to be who left the better lasting impression is going to get the title shot. So got to be interesting.
Sucks for Fluffy.
Oh,
it's just not really in this conversation.
It's pretty tough.
If they booked Fluffy RDR, I would be livid because Fluffy's going to beat him. And then it's just what are we doing, guys? That's why I'm trying to get the outcomes I want, not the deserved outcomes.
Yeah. Fluffy's in a tough spot because
you think Fluffy's the best contender right now? Sorry, you think Fluffy's the number one?
I think
contender?
Fluffy
Like,
probably is the best middleweight contender right now. I wouldn't bet my life on it, but he's middleweight Marab. That's just like, that's a really tough goddamn thing to beat.
It seems to be the formula.
Like, there is, like, if Hamzat wins, he should do everything he can to not fight Fluffy. Like, he should. I genuinely cannot imagine a worse fight for him than Fluffy. Because if he doesn't finish him in 5 minutes, which seems pretty unlikely, he is going to be drowned in the, not even deep waters. Fluffy will take him to the middle end of the pool and drown his ass. He won't even have to take him out into the ocean.
Is there any way?
Fluffy is, it's a cheat code to just have infinite cardio.
Do you think, is Hamza ever going to move past that, like he just fades kind of storyline? Because I mean, I think Mike going into the Whittaker fight, that's what the assumption was, that the later the fight goes, Whittaker should get stronger and RDR should start fading, and it was RDR that kind of looked good toward the end. So I'm kind of wondering, do you think that
he has to do it, right? Like,
once we see it, I guess
most of his fights he's not there. And so it's just like, how can we say that his cardio holds up? He blew up Whittaker in 4 minutes, Yeah. Maybe he has it in him. I would be surprised if he can, if he has that in him. Just the manner in which he fights is so much output that it would be like, if he could somehow do it, that's great. And then God help anyone fighting him. But until we see it, we have seen him drop off. Not like die. It's not like he fell off like, who's that dude who just sucked in the third round? Oh, God, it's going to drive me crazy. Little, lightweight dude who I would used to live bet against every first round he would win.
You're talking about Makwan Amirkhani.
Makwan Amirkhani, exactly. That dude. He's not Makwan Amirkhani who just falls over and dies. But, because, he's still, I think he won the third round against Gilbert Burns or whatever. But, he absolutely drops off has. And so, if he doesn't, we're going to find out in 3 weeks or whatever if DDP can survive 10 minutes with him. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, and here's the thing. We've seen RDR in 5-round fights, and we've seen him gas badly in 5-round fights. That was one of the big questions.
RDR, sorry, not DDP. Sorry.
Not DDP, RDR.
I was DDP doesn't gas. He just breathes through his mouth. He just looks tired, but continues to fight at the exact same pace.
I was saying he has that Pantoja thing where Pantoja looks kind of exhausted.
Looks tired, but he just keeps going.
Yeah, he just keeps
going. Plus, that was
yeah.
before DDP got the nose job anyway. So now he's all nose job DDP unstoppable.
Yeah, this is true.
Middleweight's fun. Middleweight is fun.
God, it's so fun.
It's just wild as Hamzat because
best.
Like for Hamzat, like at 185, are we really basing all this cardio issues at 185 just with the Usman fight?
I mean, yes, and well, it's not at 185. It's just historically the two fights he's gone long he has not looked amazing in the later rounds.
Yeah, some
carryover from welterweight.
Yeah, I just think welterweight Hamzat is just so different, but we'll see. That's
well, I mean, it's also
he fights so little. It's so hard to tell. Yeah,
it's hard to tell. But just straight up, it's I don't believe he can keep that pace because no one should physically be able to. He comes out so aggressively. It's just anybody at the gym who did that, you'd be like, cool, you're gonna win the first 4 training rounds, and then you're just gonna be dead for the next hour of the session. It is hard to believe. Maybe he can do it. Some people are freaks like that, but we've yet to see it, so it's hard to believe it.
Can't wait for that fight.
We still get Izzy in there somewhere too. We'll see. Is Izzy booked? I forget. He's not booked, right?
No. There's a lot of talk of him in Strickland, but that was before Strickland got sussied.
Yeah.
I mean, we can still get it. I don't know. It doesn't seem like, I don't know if Izzy's in any rush to fight right now.
Oh, okay. Izzy's in that kind of
Izzy versus RDR. God, that would be fun as shit.
Yeah.
I think RDR would just smoke him.
Yeah, he would, which is why it'd be hilarious because Izzy's one of the most technically skilled fighters of all time.
That's why he's such a good clash.
He's just getting cooked by big bozos. Just big dumb bozos. Like, it would be the best. Like him talking about the DDP fight is one of the funniest things I've seen in years. Him talking to Robert Whittaker, and they're both like, "He's not good." Like this is almost a direct quote from them. It's like he doesn't do anything like anybody would tell you how to do it. But then suddenly I was almost unconscious and he was choking me out. Like it's super weird. They genuinely could not, like, two fight geniuses could not wrap their heads around Dricus du Plessis. Been like, I don't understand him, but he beat my ass. And it was so fucking funny to me. And the same shit would happen with RDR. Be like, that's the least athletic man I've ever fought. And then somehow he put 6 knees into my stomach, and that sucked a lot. And then he hit an inside trip, and all of a sudden I was choked out. It's the best. I love them so much.
Hey, guys like DDP must look horrible in the gym and doing. If you're just watching on the sides, watching him do rounds in a gym, they're like, okay, that guy looks good. They look okay. Yeah, they're like, he's a pro fighter, but you don't go.
I would assume he loses gym sessions constantly.
Yeah, he's just one of those guys. But but on game day, he just shows up, and that's such a wildly important thing in this sport. The guys that just can always show up on game day. It's and you can't train that. That's just, you just got it or you don't. I don't know.
Yeah, it's the inverse. Josh Thompson is the best. Yeah. Like I love them both so much.
All right. What are the peeps talking about?
All right. Do the peeps.
By the way, while Casey searched for the question, probably should have mentioned this at the top of the show. This noon Eastern start time. This is the new start time of BTL moving forward. So
terrific.
Very, very important. We're not doing the 12:30 thing anymore. It is noon Eastern every Thursday. We will be here. Okay.
Huzzah.
What do they think of this week being? Number 6. Tatsuro, I think number 6, Tatsuro Taira, but that's the UFC rankings that don't count. Yeah, that's why I didn't recognize.
Where do we have?
He's number 9. He's 9 in our rankings.
That feels a touch low. Let me go pull up our rankings. Please continue with reading the question.
Yes. What do you think of this week being Taira versus Sung Hyun Park? Did the UFC do the best they could, knowing that Amir Albazi was pulled on Saturday and we know Monday? So I'll add a little caveat to this. I can't, hashtag journalism. I can't reveal all, but here's what I could tell you. The UFC had other options to headline on Saturday. You may have seen a screenshot on social media circulating from an Instagram story involving Waldo Cortez Acosta, who is currently slated to fight Sergey Pavlovich on August 23rd at UFC Shanghai. There were serious talks about having Waldo Cortez Acosta headline this Saturday. I know who was offered. I am not at liberty to say who he was offered. It was not Sergey Pavlovich, that I can tell you. But he said yes.
Was his name rhyme with Jom Aspinall?
That would be incredible. What an Apex main event that would be. No, we're not going to play the rhyming game because eventually you'll land on it because there's only 18 heavyweights in the UFC and it wouldn't take long to get there. WCA said yes. Seemed like that was the direction they were going. And then on Sunday, the opponent and his team, at least from what I am told, said, no can do. Sorry, just not happening. So WCA moves back to Shanghai. The fight with Sergey Pavlovich remains intact. So the UFC ended up going with Taira versus Sung Hyun Park, who's very, very fun. But Sung Hyun Park is supposed to fight Steve Erceg, and based on ranking and numbers and all of that, that fight probably made a little bit more meritocratic sense. And said Steve Erceg is fighting O'Day Osborne, who is not ranked, and Sung Hyun Park, who has a little bit more momentum than O'Day Osborne does, gets bumped up to this main event. So, Jed, your reaction to this new main event, did the UFC do the best they could knowing that Albazi, who was not medically cleared and found out pretty short notice on Friday, as a matter of fact, did they do the best they could here?
I actually think this full marks from them. This is really good. It's not good in the terms of like they should have done Steve Erceg, like from, as you said, meritocratically, it kind of would make more sense. But the reality is it doesn't matter. Like, this isn't selling pay-per-views anyway. People aren't tuning in for whoever's fighting this. Nobody knows Tatsuro Taira. They're tuning in for the UFC. This is a throwaway card for them. It's an Apex card. And I think that this is a better result. Like, Steve Erceg, he could win this fight. Like, he could beat Tatsuro Taira. He absolutely could. He also could lose. And then you've got a guy who's on a 3-fight skid, right? Or would it be 4 at that point? I can't remember. What's Steve doing these days? Where's old Stevie B at? Hold on.
3 right now because Moreno.
He's at 3.
Yeah.
So Vincenzo would be on a 4-fighter if he dropped to Tyra. We don't want that. Like, he's a fun dude, good fighter. Should probably not just kind of burn him out, just throwing him up against the very best guys in the weight class. Again, maybe he could win and that'd be great for him. But I think Ode Osborne for Erceg makes a lot more sense. Fight backwards. I think Osborne is coming off a win, if memory serves, but I don't remember who. But like before that, he was on like a bit of a losing streak. And so this is sort of a necessary step back for Steve. And Hyun Sung Park is really, really good. I am picking Tatsuro Taira, not to, spoil the preview show or whatever, because I've believed in Tatsuro Taira for quite some time. And I think that he is the future of one of the futures of this weight class. And he's just beaten better competition, fought better competition. But absolutely, Hyun Sung Park has a real opportunity to win this fight. He is very talented coming off road to UFC. And I just think the fight's a banger. Like, I think that this fight is better than the Erceg fight would be. And so this would not have been what I thought they'd do. Like, if you told me, hey, Albazi's out, I would have thought they'll go Erceg and they'll get Hyun Sung Park, somebody else, whoever that ends up being. But I really like the direction they took it. And I'm frankly looking forward to this Saturday's main event. It's not going to blow anybody's doors off. We don't have to pretend that, but I am very interested in it.
Maybe some Brendan Allen, Chris Curtis vibes here. Just a low key, under the radar slobber knocker.
Plus, it's staying 5, right? It's staying 5. Is this correct?
Yeah, it's 5.
Yeah. So like Hyun Sung Park has been training for a 3-rounder or whatever. Now he gets to bump in. He gets an extra 10 minutes. Maybe he won't need it, but I just really like this. I think they did a great job here.
Yeah. It's probably the more fun outcome, if we're being honest.
Almost certainly the more fun. Because the Erceg fight is, can Erceg prevent him from taking him down? Maybe he can. I would pretty strongly favor Taira in that fight. And again, I'm still picking him to beat Hyun Sung Park, but Park has been a fair defensive wrestler. He hasn't faced a ton of it. And I think statistically he's at 100%, but it's a bit untrue if you actually watch the fights. He's spent plenty of time on his back, but I think he's a crisper striker, pretty solid, pretty fast hands. I think it's a great fight. I'm really excited for it.
All right.
Don't skip like a family outing for this card. Please don't mistake me carrying water for the UFC here. I like this card. I'm happy to work Saturday and see. Not only like this card, I like this fight. I'm happy to watch this fight. But if you've got other plans, go ahead and do those.
Yeah, apple picking?
Apple picking. I mean, I don't know if it's apple season. I think we're still at the tail end of strawberry season right now. Pumpkin's coming right down the line. We're not there yet, but you could go hit up the pumpkin patch pretty soon.
Yeah,
go to the lake. There. It's got a lot of things to do here. Look, it's Saturday, I believe, though I haven't been doing this in some time. I think school starts next week. So if you just got to take the kids and do some back to school shopping, go for it.
Yeah, following week for mine. But yeah, coming quick. I think August 11th, back to school. Jesus Christ.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Boza. Super chats.
Fancy. Mike and Jed, what's your guys' handicap? Mine's been as low as 6. Appreciate seeing the fellow golf and UFC enthusiasts of the world. What is your handicap, Jed?
Let me
Real quick,
look it up.
As a golf person, what does handicap mean? I hear that term all the time. I have no idea what that means.
It's basically a score of how good you are. but it's functional. Like one of the things that I do think is the coolest about golf in relation to other sports is there's no real way for me to play basketball with an NBA player. Like it's just not feasible. I could go on the court, but like there's no way to level that playing field. A handicap is just a numerical because everybody's playing to a score of 72 functionally. It's just a numerical way to level the field of you on average, like, at your best, you will shoot this many shots over par, which is 72. And so like with handicaps, so
Do you assign yourself your handicap, or I don't understand?
no, so you just submit your scores and your
okay.
handicap is calculated off those scores. It takes into account things like a thing called slope rating, which is basically how difficult the course you're playing is.
Okay.
It takes in a whole bunch of factors, and it doesn't take your, it's like of your last 20 scores, it takes like your 6 best or whatever to get you to basically what you can be expected to shoot on a good day of golf. And so like Scotty Scheffler is the best golfer in the world. Most pros don't have like real handicaps. I believe he's like estimated at a +8 or something. I am currently a 9.2. So like because of that, I could go play golf against Scotty Scheffler, and we would play golf and Scotty would spot me 17 strokes, basically 1 stroke a hole. And I would still almost certainly get run over. But like the handicap system is just a way for you to sort of get the people you are playing with to a level of even that's not super available in other sports. And it's really cool. I'm a 9.2, by the way. I said that in the middle of it. I'm a 9.2 currently, which I believe is my career low.
That's good. I am not in single digits right now. Right now, I'm about a 14. I played a golf league on Thursday nights now. They had me as an 18, but after my round yesterday, I'm sure that is going to lower. But I'm like usually
Big ace,
low
man.
to mid 80s. That's pretty much where I'm at. Sometimes upper 80s. Sometimes I'll shoot low 90s. Sometimes I'll shoot upper 70s. Like I am a mixed bag of craziness. So
I rarely shoot 90 or over anymore. It happens, but my lowest scores for this year have mostly been like low 8 or high 80s, and I'm pretty consistently in the low 80s or high 70s at this stage.
Yeah. I mean, I have to really play like shit to shoot in the low 90s, which wasn't always the
It
case.
happens. Sometimes it just happens, because golf is a very stupid sport in that regard. But
yeah, if I can get the ball off the tee, I'm shooting pretty well because my iron game's been pretty good. My wedges have been great. It just, the driver is very erratic. So if I can hit it straight or at least in play, we're going to have a damn good round.
Starting the hole in play helps a lot.
Yeah.
My approach game is an absolute disaster right now. But so I was on, we talked about this off air, but I played a golf tournament that me and my buddies do every year over the past weekend. And my rounds were, of 4 rounds, one of them is a scramble, so that doesn't count. My 3 individual rounds were an 80, an 82, and an 84. And the 82 should have been a 78. The 84, I kind of played like ass.
All right. Because you guys love talking golf, I just have to ask, without getting political, because there are plenty of political podcasts out there. What do we think about cheating in golf? Like the Trump video of the caddy just dropping the ball for him. What do we think about people who cheat in golf?
I think it's a testament to your character. Like it's lame to do, but like a lot of people do it, or they flub their handicaps. We had a guy with us at this trip, and we all kind of knew it was happening, but he didn't sandbag his handicap. His handicap is like much lower than he actually is a golfer. And the way we did it is we pair up by handicaps functionally for a natural pair. And so he got run over, which we all knew was going to, because the point of golf is not to beat the people you're with. You're playing yourself. Like I'm never playing whoever I'm playing against. I'm playing the course and myself and just trying to be the best version of myself I can be. So, if you're not doing it for anything, if you're cheating for yourself and you're not, taking money from people in a skins game or something, then I just think it's kind of lame, but like whatever, but like if you're actually cheating in like for monetary stakes, you're a piece of shit.
Yeah. I mean, I think all of us who have ever played golf and played in like charity scrambles and things of that nature, you played with teams who fucking cheat.
The
that's
charity
just
scramble
so
things
annoying.
are so lame.
It's so ridiculous. Like, just go out and play and have a good time. Like, that's what's great about the Thursday leagues. We all just go out. We're all handicapped. We go play. No one cheats. You just go and you play around, and whatever happens, happens. Like, there's different rule sets and different draws and different ways to approach it. Like, each week is a different format, which I think friggin' rocks. Like, for instance, like this past there, like we did a 4-man scramble 2 Thursdays ago. We did a 4-man scramble last week, but the tee shot, based on where you were slotted on the card, whatever the tee shot goes, it's based on a dice roll. So if I'm number
That's
4 on
fun.
the card, yeah, you roll a die.
That's kind of fun.
If you hit a 5 or a 6, you get to take the best drive. And then if it lands on 1, 2, 3, or 4, you have to play whoever's ball off the tee that it lands on.
Nice. I like that. That's fun.
So like you can hit 3 great drives, but person 4 could hit the ball in the water. And if you roll a 4, you're dropping or you're re-teeing depending on what hole you're on. So like those are just fun things. You just have fun with it. But like to see people go out there, and I love the videos of like people getting caught cheating now. Like 2 teams will go out and shoot like a 59 40. And they're tied at 59. And they're like, all right, let's go film the playoff hole. And you see all 8 dudes just suck ass. And you're like, how is this possible? How are you guys shooting 58s and 59s and 60s? Like, this is fucking stupid. But yeah, that's annoying. If you're that person, you're ridiculous.
As long as you're only cheating yourself, I don't have any, like, because the other thing, and like, I certainly did this early in my golf career, and I encourage anybody who like plays very casually or whatever, it's supposed to be fun. And so like, if you don't give a shit and nobody's harmed by it and you want to take multiple tee shots to get one in play, do it. And then like, that's fine, but it's like, if you're cheating somebody else and not yourself, then it's a testament to really poor character.
Yeah. Establish some rules. Like Jen and I play the same rules. You can take a breakfast fall on the first tee and you get a mulligan per 9.
Yeah. The breakfast ball, we don't play all the time anymore. Which is really fun, frankly, because then you could just be cold, but like, have fun however you're going to have fun out there, as long as everybody's in agreement and you're not like, oh, I found this ball that clearly was OB or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, not to harp on it too much, but like, what does it mean when the caddy cheats for you? That means you have a conversation, right?
I mean, maybe it's just a presumption, that it means that it is frequent. Right, like it's that
it just kind of blew my mind. I was just like, "What?" It's just like,
it was pretty wild, but
just like, but yeah, here we are. All right,
perhaps
thank you.
Perhaps he was ordered to drop the ball there by the President of the United States, which you're really not going to say no to. So
yeah, see, like I like it between the links. It's a cage fighting show and golf,
and a golf show.
It's right there. It's right there in the title.
It is right there.
So many things.
All right, thank you so much for the super chat.
I did get a hole in one yesterday. I did get a hole in one.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
Hold on.
Oh, thank you, Lazy Bed. Yes, the second one of my career. Both happened while my child was alive. First one happened a month after he was born. It was literally like the first time I was able to like leave the house without my family. My wife was just like, go play golf. And I got one there. And then I got one yesterday. My kid and I were playing a match. He was playing junior tees. I was playing from the white tees. And we were having like a pretty competitive match. And then we get up to the 3rd hole and I hit just an absolute high riser right at the hole. I'm like, oh, this is looking pretty good. And usually I'll be like, just go in, just joking around. I said nothing. And I watched this ball bounce and it actually spun a little backwards and then it was gone. And I just was like, holy shit, it went in. And my kid looked at me, he goes, what? I'm like, no, it's in. And it was far away. And I started running. And then I realized I have a 12-year-old who can't drive a golf cart. So I
mean, you can probably figure it out.
Yeah. I mean, what, he can drive a golf cart? Not on the third hole. We get to like 6, 7 away, like far away.
Away from the clubhouse. Yeah.
So I had to sprint back and get him. And then we drove down and he was like, he goes, if this is in the hole, like, I'm just going to concede this hole to you. And I was like, all right, that makes sense. And then he ran up and found the ball in the hole. And I was like, sick. And I just kept
saw the IG. It's pretty cool.
It is an absolute mind F when that happens, because the first one I got, I was actually playing great. I think that hole in one, the first one that I got put me at like 3 under for the round. And then I fell apart. Like, it was some of the worst falling. It was the worst cliff dive in golf history. So in the back of my mind after the ace, I was like, just don't fall apart. Don't fall apart. So I teed up the ball, and then on the next tee, and then I realized this is the hole in one ball. I'm putting this away. I switched golf balls, and then I nuked a drive that went right into the trees, and it was gone, and I couldn't find it. So I had to drop for 3. After that, and I'm like, oh, I'm so glad I switched that ball.
Good.
So it was great.
Good plan.
Yep.
You know what sucks about I guess what sucks about getting a hole in one, because it's not like on TV. It's not like a big show. So like you get a hole in one, but you don't actually see it.
Yeah.
You just kind of. I got it. Yeah. So kind of, you don't have that footage of the crowd go, wow, but in your head you do, I think.
Because I would love, like, it'd be great to just be like, hey, film me on every par 3 in case they get a hole in one. But then that gets like super annoying, and
you have to have someone down there on the other end too.
Yeah.
Like it's not.
Yeah. And you got to put the tracer on it, but like, it was real. I'm not gonna just make up that.
No. Yeah. That's awesome, man. That's a wild feeling.
It happened.
Yeah. Like when I get a mini, putt hole in one, especially on like a par 4 and like on 2 bounces, I'm like, I'm a living god. Yeah. So it must feel great for you.
What's crazy about it is I have no idea how to put spin on a ball in any way, shape, or form. So like none of my shots ever in history have ever had any sort of spin backwards, unless like hit a slope and just rolled backwards on the hill. And it's not like it broke 15 feet. It's not like 17 at Sawgrass. This just like bounced over the hole and then rolled back in maybe like 7 inches, which again doesn't happen ever. So when I saw the ball land, I'm like, all right, there's no way this is going in. And then I just saw it disappear. And yeah, so pretty cool.
All right. Thank you, Lazy Bed. Thank you so much. A few more super chats. Last week's card. Jed, did you get to watch the best fight of the night, which was Bude versus Buchacha? What's his name?
I've yet to see Bude Buchacha.
Buchacha.
I've seen. Let me pull up the card. I'll tell you which ones I've seen off
it. Please watch.
Saw the main event. I saw Petr Yan, Marcus McGee. I saw Shara Powerbar. I saw Bogdan Guskov kill Nikita Krylov. I saw Muslim Salikov kill Karl. That took 10 seconds to see. I saw the aftermath of Tabitha Ricci and Mendy Hibas, but I didn't actually watch the fight. And because I thought we might end up talking about it today, because before I knew we were Q&Ing, I went and watched Steve Nguyen Mohammad Yahya, but I did not see the Buchecha fight yet.
I'm interested in your opinions on that, because I called it a robbery. And a lot of other people did, but it was such an amazing fight.
I heard a lot of conversation on the post show about it. I did not think I'd hear a lot of conversation on the post show about that, but there we were.
Me and Casey did a watch party just for that fight.
We had
the fan Q&A rolled right into that fight.
That was the best thing, the best suggestion ever. That was the best suggestion.
After the show, I'll watch it and I'll give you my thoughts. Because I don't think I'm going to watch Bryce Mitchell, Saeed Nurmagomedov.
You don't need to. No, it's fine.
Or Billy Elakena, Ibo Aslan. I just don't think I care about either of those.
Definitely don't watch that fight. Yeah. Yep. I would rather watch Bryce Mitchell, Saeed Nurmagomedov 100 times in a row than watch Ibo versus Elakena one more time. It's one of the worst fights of the year.
Yeah, I think I've seen all that I intend to see, except for now I'll watch the Bude Buchecha fight just to check it out.
Yeah.
They started the card off of the main event. It's insane.
It's rare that sometimes they do that, you know.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Tanvir, super chat.
Middleweight is on fire. I think Imavov beats Kaio. Izzy versus RDR. Strickland versus Whittaker. Happy Friday.
I'd be fine with all that.
Is he RDR?
If that's what they do, cool.
Strickland,
I don't know.
Whittaker? You like that? Assuming
I think-
Whittaker.
I mean, they just haven't
fight?
fought, so that kind of makes sense
Just-
to some
just because.
degree. The biggest impediment I see to that is that both Strickland and Izzy seem to
want
be interested in fighting each other again, and so then that just kind of puts Bob in the who does Bob fight next? You know,
Fluffy.
honestly, Robert Whittaker versus Fluffy is probably actually good. That probably makes some sense. But, you know, and then RDR can go fight for the belt. As I think I'm going to pick Kyle Bahalio because I think that he's very talented and very good. But I think that fight is very competitive, and I'm pretty interested in it.
Definitely so. All right. Thank you, Tamper. Last stand. Super chat.
I'm glad you brought this up. What should a ref do if a fighter is so durable that they could just farm like 10 knockdowns and still fight back? So, Jed, I'm glad you got to watch Steven Nguyen versus Mohammad Yahya. I pretty much predicted the second that fight was booked that Steven Nguyen is going to put such a hurting on this man. I didn't think he'd knock him down 6 times, but officially, MMA Fighting official score, 7 knockdowns for Steven Nguyen in that fight. Just absolute craziness.
It was 8. It was 100% 8 knockdowns.
It could have been 8. It could have been 8. UFC stats had it officially at 6. We had it at 7. If you want to go at 8.
Stupid. That was so, like, even listening to the commentary, they're like, ruled a slip. It wasn't a slip. Like, I know he was on one foot. He got punched and fell down. That's a knockdown. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Not all knockdowns are the same, but like that, it was 8 knockdowns. It was absolutely 8 knockdowns in that fight. I saw his ass hit the mat 8 different times because he got punched.
I thought it was ridiculous. I thought Herzog should have stopped that fight multiple times. Like, I know Yahya is like, yeah, I'll keep doing it, but no one has ever been knocked down that many times. And just Yaya's face just continued to get worse and worse and worse. His eye got worse and worse and worse. It looked like a fucking softball was coming out of his face by the midway through the second round. It was pretty nuts. Herzog has taken a lot of flack, although there are some people that are like, yo, Yahya was still trying to get up and defend himself to some degree, but there is always the case. Fighter safety comes first. And when it comes to toughness and durability, and we've talked about it with certain fighters over the years, the Caters, the Holloways, etc., being tough is usually, when we say, wow, you're really tough, that usually means you are just getting your ass handed to you. And that can only take you so far. So
tough as a
now that you've watched
compliment.
Now that you watched it, Jed, thoughts on Jason Herzog's performance?
I'll start here. I expected worse. After hearing you guys on the post show, I thought it'd be more egregious. I think I have 2 gripes with Jason Herzog, but ultimately, I'm not going to kill him on this one. I would have stopped it at the last knockdown in the first round, because that was a hard knockdown and he did not really look like he was all together. But historically, that is a thing that happens all the time, right? Where fighter gets knocked down, you've already heard the clapper and the fighter is kind of moving. And so you just err on the side of let them work through it unless they get put out. So I understand why he didn't. That is when I would have stopped the fight if I was in there. But I'm not even that opposed to him letting it play out there. I have always been a little more along the lines of let the fighters decide it than the referee intervene than most people. I just have slightly more of a stomach for that than I think a lot of people do. And so I won't even kill him for that. I probably would have jumped in at that point, but I'm not hugely upset with Jason Herzog on that. The other thing, the one that I am more upset with, and I think ultimately didn't really matter that much, but I think that I haven't noticed a lot of people come at him for.
Uh-oh. You still there? Oh,
Jason Herzog,
oh,
I don't believe you can see out of this eye. And he couldn't very clearly. And then between rounds, they were like, yeah, the eye, you can't fight anymore. And so there was 2 minutes there where he was one-eyed and they allowed him to fight. And I don't know what Jason Herzog was like that. There was a clear opportunity to be like, break, got to check this eye out. It looks swollen shut. And so that is the thing that I actually think Jason Herzog really screwed up. On paper, right? Like 8 knockdowns, you'd be like, this probably should have stopped it. And again, if he had stopped at that last knockdown in the first round, I would not have had an issue with it. And certainly that's probably when I would have jumped in and done it. But it's all explicable because part of it is like, it's not the Muhammad Yahya is that tough. He just kept getting knocked down because he's not good at fighting. Like a lot of those knockdowns, like, yes, he was getting hit clean, but he was getting hit clean on one leg or because he jumped in and his stance was squared and he got hit and fell over and he was he was hurt, but like he wasn't, he just sort of fell over a lot. And so I think that this is honestly the gripe I have is not with Jason Herzog. It's with Yahya's corner because I have always been of the belief, I'm pretty on record with this for the history of my time here at Vox, like that referees are supposed to protect the fighters from the other fighters. Corners are supposed to protect fighters from themselves. And Yahya's corner didn't do that. They should never have sent him back out there for round 2. And I know that he had that moment where he, stumbled win, but like, his corner should have looked at him and been like, hey, man, you got dropped 6 times. We're going to call it. Like, your eye's already a bit of a problem. You just got blown up. You're on wobbly legs. We're going to call it. And I'm much happier if that decision is put on the corner and not the referee. I don't think the referee should be the arbiter of all this shit. We should just be the referee should be there to prevent some dude from killing another dude. Because that dude's unconscious and we got to literally pull him off of the unconscious man. The corners should be the guys who make these calls and be like, hey, man, you got to live to fight another day. And it is a pervasive issue in the sport that does not exist in boxing. And I don't know how to get corners to just not be assholes and look after their fighters. But like, because I have heard the arguments, F all those arguments. They're all stupid arguments. Well, you got like, nope. You like those arguments exist in boxing too. And boxing corners still stop fights because they recognize that personal health is better than a $10,000 paycheck or whatever. So honestly watching it, I expected it to be worse based on a lot of the conversation. My big takeaway was Muhammad Yahya's corner sucks shit and should all not work in the sport anymore.
So I'm with you on the first. I'm with you. They should have not let him come out in round 2 without question. My gripe with Herzog, and it wasn't even the first round. It was from the moments of that last knockdown, which was vicious. I mean, when his dude's head hit the back of the mat, like it was bad. And even Nguyen was just like, all right, I'm standing over him. That's it. I'm done. Round ends. Dude saved by the bell. That's cool at all. When Yahya actually stands up and tries to find his corner, the dude is out to lunch. He has no idea what's happening. He's like a dude who just ripped 100 Jaeger shots in a row in like 5 minutes and then tried to stand off of his bar stool and walk to the bathroom. He was like stumbling all over himself. He's tripping over his own feet. You could tell he had no idea where he was. It was brutal. At that point, if you're Jason Herzog, you can say, all right, I'm going to let you go out for round 2, but the second this gets hairy, you're done. And then he gets knocked down fucking 2 or 3 more times. And at that point, it's just like,
but that's the thing.
Dude,
that first knockdown wasn't even that hairy though. Like he got dropped, but it was still like his eyes were clear. Again, like I don't think the referee should be the arbiter of safety when it's as a last resort functionally, as like this dude's going to physically die in the cage if I let somebody continue to bash his brains in while he's unconscious. The corners are the guys who know their fighters and should have like an actual emotional connection. Be like, man, I'm kind of tired of watching Mo get the shit kicked out of him. Maybe we should throw the towel in here. Like I
don't disagree with you on this, by the way.
It is all just, it's so, and like continuing to put the onus on the referee completely absolves corners in a way that I think we should stop doing. Like the corners should be the ones getting raked over the coals here, because Jason Herzog, he refs a shitload of fights. Like sometimes you're going to fuck up, right? Like that just is a thing that will happen when you do anything 1,000 times a year. You're going to make a mistake, things like that. And so in general, try to be lenient. And Jason Herzog has historically been a very good ref, but maybe you have an off day. Jason Herzog's not going to spend the rest of his life around Mohammad Yahya. Like ostensibly his corner will. You should want your friend and training partner and teammate to not get the shit kicked out of him for $10,000. Like that's, I just want us to blame corners. I genuinely think that it would be better for the sport in total if we went back to like UFC 3 days, where like I actually, honest to God, at UFC 2, UFC 1, there were no functional rules. UFC 2 is when John McCarthy was like, I have to physically be able to intervene if a guy's going to die. But other than that, the fight goes on until the corner stops it or I have to intervene. That should be the standard. Like the referee is an arbiter of the rules to make sure the rules are being followed and a last resort of safety, and everything else should fall on the corner. And if that becomes the set, corners are just going to get better at this, and the health of the sport overall will be much better, I think.
Yeah, but how are you gonna? How does that work? If a corner's never gonna stop it, what do we do in order to like get them?
You just have to inform the corners, hey, we're not going to. And it is a culture thing. It's not an overnight thing that will happen. But like, I genuinely, in your mind, how many fights in MMA can you recall ever being stopped by a corner? I'm less than 5. That's sort of an insane, like in a sample size as big as that, that's pretty wild. When it's a common occurrence in boxing, it happens all.
Oh no.
Like the one that jumps out the most to me is when Nick Diaz threw the towel in Nate Diaz against Josh Thompson. And like, it was one of the best things Nick Diaz ever done in his career. Just do that. Like there was no reason to send Mohammad Yahya out there. And I think we should just be shitting on his corner and shaming them into being better.
Problem is, I think we need to educate corners more as well. Because I remember the uproar from the Max Holloway Calvin Kattar fight. And I remember the heat that Tyson Chartier took for not stopping the fight and allowing Calvin to go out in round 5 to fight Max after the beating he was taking in that fight. And Tyson's response was like, look, I know Calvin better than anybody. I asked him questions. He answered them clearly. He looked fine. He was staring across at Max. He stood back up. He was bouncing around. He was ready to go. Well, I know the thing that I took away most from that conversation with Tyson after that fight was I was waiting for Herb Dean to stop it. The corners are actually waiting for the referees to make the decision so they don't have to. And I wonder if
they don't want that.
Right.
And that's so dumb.
And I wonder if Herzog is thinking in that moment, I'm waiting for the corner to stop it, because don't forget, not that long ago, Jason Herzog took a bunch of shit for a different stoppage. It was the Derek Lewis Palace and Teixeira fight.
I want to bring that up, and then just the crazy balance the sport is.
But that's sort of the point, right? The referee will take the shit, and when the referee intervenes, by definition, he is taking an opportunity away from one of the fighters. Now, whether he should or shouldn't, like that's the thing. But like fighters in corners with money at stake, most corners fighters I've ever spoken to are like, I would like to be unconscious. I would like the referee to only stop it if I am physically not there, because the stakes are so high. That's why and because they will lose their shit at the referee. That's why the onus shouldn't be on the referee, because the ref has to continue reffing other fighters from these teams, etc. Like, that should just be on the corner. and the corners need to be adults. They need to grow up and accept that maybe the fighter will be mad for a minute, but then they'll go back and watch, and you would hope that the fighter has enough trust in you and what you see out there to acknowledge that you were taking their best interest into heart. And like, that's just why it should be that way. And it is deeply not in the sport. And we got to find a way to get past that and get it to a better space.
So let me ask you this. John Attic suggested, and I actually kind of like this, rather than have this sort of internal dialogue between corner and referee, who's going to stop and who's going to make the decision. Should the UFC institute a knockdown, fuck it, this fight's over rule? Attic suggested 5 knockdowns. If we hit 5, it's over. No? This, my issue is this is never going to change. Ever. No one's going to take fault. No, unless there's actual sort of guidelines put in place in some way, shape, or form. I just don't see it happening. Like if we're looking at a world where it's like, all right, 5 knockdowns and the fight is over, maybe corners would be like, fuck it, where he's going to get knocked out a 5th time anyways. Maybe we'll stop it sooner. I don't know. Maybe that's some sort of navigation tool to be like, all right, I don't need to wait for this 5th knockdown, because if he gets knocked down a 5th time, it's over. Maybe they'll be quicker to stop it. I don't know.
This is honestly an example of why I don't want that. He got knocked down before the last knockdown of the first round, what I count as knockdown 6. He got knocked down 5 times, and I did not think that fight should have been stopped. Because a lot of the knockdowns where he was on one leg and he got popped, like he was still clear enough eyesighted there. And so once you start drawing hard and fast rules like that, then it just becomes a numbers game in a way that's probably not going to be massively impactful. Right? How many fights have 5 knockdowns in them? Not exactly. Many. But it's still just why do that and hard and fast rules create opportunities for people to feel hard done by because of, other things. Everyone this, we don't have to reinvent the wheel, everybody just do their jobs. Jason Herzog, protect the fighter. Corners, protect your own goddamn fighter. Fighters, protect yourselves, and everyone should be okay.
Yeah, I don't
why even have referees at this point?
Again, referees should be there to. They don't, but they should be there to enforce the rules. They don't really do that, and they should be there to start rounds and end rounds, and they should be there to literally pull someone off of another human to prevent them from killing them. That should be the use of the referee, in my opinion.
All right.
Great conversation.
Terrific.
I remember Paulie, was it Paulie Malignaggi? How do you say his name? Paulie, was it well, I remember him just talking about basically until an MMA fighter straight up dies in the cage, it's going to be tough get these early, these late stoppages, because boxing, a lot of boxers die every year in the ring or moments after. And
that's 100% true.
Yeah.
That's it. And but the thing is we're just not morons, right? We should be able to do things without the ultimate consequences occurring, because that is why it is a cultural thing in boxing, because every year a dozen fighters die in boxing, and long-term boxing coaches, outside of the immediate deaths that happen, also see the long-term consequences of the sport, and how a guy like Muhammad Ali, his life ends, how the end of years happens. And so they just we shouldn't have to relearn the hard lesson to learn the lesson. And there are people in the comments right now been like, well, fighters say they'll fire their corners. Fine.
Okay.
Do it. They won't, by the way, but okay. If I am the corner of someone, I throw in a towel because it's the right thing to do, and that fighter says, hey man, not going to work for me anymore, I will say, okay, I did my job. I protected you when you could not protect yourself, and I can live with that. But that won't happen. I'm not saying it would never happen, The long history of combat sports tells us no, that fighters will think that in the moment. And you may have to have a hard conversation in the back. They'll be pissed, like, I was still fighting. And then in a week, they'll be like, actually, this guy who has coached me my whole life, I'm like, yeah, he actually was right. Because if this were true, that's just no, it wouldn't happen in boxing because every fighter would fire their boxing coach and it would cause, but that's not what's happened. There is a huge sample size of this occurring that if you just do the right thing as the corner, there might be some breakage and you might have one bad conversation and then everyone will realize, oh, yeah, Mohammad Yahya didn't need to go out there again. That would have been okay. That would have been better for everybody if he didn't. And we could have stopped this, at the end of the first round. And that's just all it will be. Like this, the Chicken Little of, oh, they'll be fired. Cool. Who gives a shit? Because they won't be. But also, that's fine. Like I would rather be fired protecting somebody I care about's life than oh, well, I didn't do this. And now when we're 50, I have to clean up your shit because you're incontinent. Like, because you took 1,000 brain damaging shots.
Thank you, Last Stand, for the super chat. Sagar Patel. A couple more super chats before we get out of here.
Heading from LA to Chicago to UFC 319 to see my friend Jakar fight. How would you rank this card versus others in 2025? UFC
319. My recollection is that this card is poop, but the
I actually think it's better.
It got better.
It's all right. Actually, yeah, this isn't bad.
Yeah, I actually thought even before it was better than people were giving it credit for. Fun fights. Again, not like a ton of stakes overall outside of the main event, although the co-main event has changed things, Jed. So, so two-parter for you, since you didn't get the chance to react to this in real time on Saturday. How does the card look now? What's the Mashulin rating as it stands? Now that we have the addition of this fight, which I'll have you react to as well. Aaron Pico taking on, your favorite featherweight contender, Lerone Murphy, on short notice.
Actually, this fight's really, really smart and good. I think this is the fight they should have made instead of the Movsar fight, which was very stupid. Movsar should just be fighting for the belt. I hope that this means we're settling on that now and doing the right thing in this regard and not doing the Yair thing, which would be impossibly stupid. I think the Lerone Murphy fight makes a ton of sense, right? Like you don't need Aaron Pico to come and get a big star name. Not that Movsar is. Aaron Pico is the A side of this fight anyway. You need him to come in and have a fight. And Lerone Murphy is a very good fighter. If Lerone wins, then maybe he gets a little juice. If Aaron wins, he's 90% of the battle is already accomplished. Like he just got to win inside the UFC and is totally in the title mix. So I think this fight is what they should have done in the first place. It's a fine co-main event. I think that it's a 3-rounder, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a fine co-main event. Thing is, like, the card overall 319, it is heavily reliant on the main event coming through. Knock on wood that happens, though you should never be that confident when Hamzat's involved that a fight's going to go through. But knock on wood, we get that. And then the card will be good. If something happens to the main event, this card is not a pay-per-view. They need to give it to you for free if something happens to the main event in the next couple of weeks. But the rest of the card is actually a lot better than I sort of thought. Again, we're talking like fight night quality, not pay-per-view quality necessarily, but still a lot of good, interesting things. And I'm excited to see Aaron Pico, who could be one of the best featherweights in the world. Now we get to kind of really have a nice gauge on where he's at in this weight class and sort of his title aspirations.
I think compared to UFC 318, this is a million times better. Like there is not a.
I think it's similar.
There is not a Jackson McVeigh versus Bruno Ferreira anywhere here. Like,
no, top to bottom, the card is better. It's deeper, for sure. Yeah. But I think that they fundamentally have the same issue as their boxing pay-per-views. They're one-fight pay-per-views.
Right now, the opening fight is Edson Barboza versus Drakkar Klose. That's the opener as of right now. That is a pretty damn good opener. Bobby Green,
fun.
Diego
They're
Ferreira.
both probably past it, but that is fun.
Yeah.
The worst, like, I think the worst fight on this card, like name value wise and like merit wise, and it's gonna be probably the most fun fight on this card outside of the main event, is Gerald Meerschaert versus Mikhail Oleksiejczuk. Two guys who get or
That
get
fight's
got.
going to be absolutely ludicrous.
It's gonna be awesome. And that's the worst. That is the worst fight on this card, like in terms of like name value and rankings and all of that. Like,
Probably
this
that's
isn't bad.
probably true.
This is
Yeah,
pretty
that's probably
good.
true. Yeah, it's a good fight card top to bottom. It's like a really good fight night card with
But you're
a
right
pay-per-view
about the
main
main
event.
event.
But if something happens to that main event, this is a catastrophe. So knock on wood that nothing happens.
That it's a great fight night and a terrible pay-per-view.
Yeah. What a great UFC and Fox card. Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, like this is exactly that, Casey. Like when they were doing the like initial stage UFC on Fox cards when they were trying to care real hard, like this is that. Plus a pay-per-view main event that's incredible.
What was it? It was February of 2016, the greatest year in the history of the sport. It was, I believe it was Cain Velasquez versus Fabricio Verdum at first, right? That was like the initial main event for that February pay-per-view. And then Stipe was going to step in. And then I think Cain got hurt. So they lost the main event altogether. And then like on 5 days notice or something, they were like, it's not a pay-per-view anymore. We're doing it as a fight night. And Stephen Thompson and Johnny Hendricks was the main event for the I don't even think it was a Fox card. I think it just ended up being like an FS1 fight night card.
Yeah, one of those. Yeah.
It sounds right.
And Wonderboy nukes Johnny Hendricks in seconds and then gets a title fight or ends up getting a title fight. And that was the card where the prelims were headlined by Mickey Gall versus terrific cameraman. If you watched him on Swing Rounds, who became Derek Lewis's mortal enemy during that round of golf for snapping photos too loud during a short putt for Derek Lewis. Mike Jackson, with the winner getting the fight against CM Punk. So yeah, 2016 was just a totally different time. But I can assure you, in today's UFC, there's no effing way, even if they lose the main event, that they're saying, yeah, this is not a pay-per-view anymore.
It was, in fact, an FS1 card. I actually think if they lose the main event, they will pull this off pay-per-view.
You think so?
Like if they lose it entirely, if they can't be like, Hamzat's out, Nasruddin is stepping in on 3 days notice or whatever.
It's supposed to be Kyle or whatever.
It's Kyle Bahalio.
It's Kyle Bahalio.
If they can't do that, then yeah, it's like if the main event is off, they just can't. You cannot do a Lerone Murphy, Aaron Pico main event in pay-per-view. Can't be done.
I will 1,000,000,000% tell you what they will do. And this is awful, but they will 100% do this. They will promote Jared Cannonier versus Michael Page for the interim middleweight title as the main event. They would do it.
How dare you put that out there?
I'll take that bet. I'll take that bet. I
hope you don't have to make it, but
I think this becomes an ESPN card. And this becomes just an ESPN Plus card.
Well, then they have to do another pay-per-view then.
I mean, that's fine. They can do a pay-per-view in September. Baby. They currently don't have a September pay-per-view, so they can figure.
Yeah, but they're on the road most of that month.
Yeah, you just make one of those pay-per-view.
What are they going to do? Diego Lopez versus John Silva is a pay-per-view main event now?
Honestly, they might actually look at that card and say, this fight has fallen off. Can we bump DDP versus X person to the main event of that and make that a pay-per-view? And that actually would be the best way to solve the problem, frankly.
DDP.
Can we bump this back a couple of weeks against pick a name and that's a pay-per-view?
What if
bump it back to the Paris card and make Imavov Berhalio for an interim thing as a pay-per-view. Like that's a better outcome than making this card a pay-per-view.
What if it fell off today and they announced RDR versus Kyle Bahalio for the interim middleweight title?
That would be dope.
Would that save it for you?
In.
Okay.
I mean, for me, I don't think it would save it for any other person alive, but for me, I'd be down.
Although I got to tell you, this won't happen in my opinion, but God, if DDP versus Hamzat headlined Noche UFC,
That would be a ripper,
it'd be the
dude.
greatest thing of all time.
Noche UFC that was supposed to be in Guadalajara and now it's just in San Antonio. And suddenly it's DDP Hamzat. Like that would be the one to do, right? If you like this fell apart, the Noche card is, it's got a great co-main event attached to it if you do that, and Diego Lopez, Jean Silva, and then you bump whoever's available to fight DDP on that weekend.
Oh, all right, dude.
Nothing says Noche UFC like Boer Drickus Duplessis.
Oh, that'd be incredible.
A rip.
Oh my God. All right, next question. That's so funny. RJ, PSA for all the fighters for whom English is a second language that Dan Hooker dunks on. Take a page out of Felder's book and make fun of his name. He will implode again. I guarantee it.
What is this about? I've seen a couple. Did Hooker say something stupid?
I assume Hooker's been talking a lot of shit, a lot of people.
I mean, Hooker ripped the UFC
Armin
for taking tickets away from him. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, I saw that. But Hooker,
he's been taking a lot of shots at Armin.
But he also, he does. But
English.
First of all, everybody's taking shots at Armin. Let's put that out there.
Armin's put himself very public lately.
Second of all, Dan Hooker, despite all the shit talk and Armin's a prick and all this stuff, that interview at Submission Radio, obviously the biggest takeaway was the UFC taking his tickets away from UFC 317 because he wanted to go watch Kai Kara France fight for the belt. And then they're like, nah, you're off the list. And he's like, fuck it, then I'm not fighting in Perth for you because I'm still hurt, but I was going to do you a favor. But now, fuck it, I'm not doing it. And then the other thing.
That's so unbelievably shitty of the UFC.
Yeah.
It's tickets. It's free. Like,
yeah.
They're fighting.
Like, we've all been there. It's not like they have a limited number. You just put an extra fold-out chair for Dan Hooker. It's not hard. That's dumb. God, that's dumb.
Yeah, it was crazy. So that was obviously a big takeaway. And the other thing is he was like, yeah, Armin's a prick. He goes, but the main reason I want to fight him is because like nobody else wants to fight him. So I'll fight him. And I think that's pretty sweet. Like, good on you. Like, no one wants to fight this guy. Gaethje's already been public saying like, I don't really care to fight him. Doesn't seem
don't
Topuria doesn't want it.
Gaethje.
Yeah, Patty doesn't want it. They're all and Hooker's like, yeah,
Topuria should want it. It's annoying that he doesn't. I get it, but it's annoying.
Yeah.
Gaethje, don't book Armin and Gaethje. That's like one of the worst fights you can make in the sport right now.
Do you think Gaethje's the front runner to get the title fight right now?
No, I think it's Patty.
I don't know if they're going to go that route. Like, I feel like they should. I feel like they absolutely should.
My belief is always that they're going to go the biggest route, and that's the biggest route. He walked in the cage. I think that, if he tries to negotiate himself out of it, maybe, but it's the one Ilya wants. It has heat. I think that ultimately that's the move because nothing else jumps out as awesome. So I think they'll go for that.
I mean, Topuria versus Gaethje would be pretty awesome. And
it'd be really fun, but like
I think Topuria would obliterate him and get a highlight reel out of it,
which only helps certainly
make the Patty fight even bigger. And
most likely.
A little bit more.
But like, there are very few people who love Justin Gaethje, the fighter, more than I do. He's a hard sell right now. Like I watched him get just sent to the Shadow Realm by Max Holloway a year ago. So it's like, it's not impossible. He doesn't have a great claim to it. Just do Patty. It makes all the sense in the world. Do Patty now. You do it, and that's fine. And I believe that Ilya will convincingly beat Patty. I know that I'm in the minority here. I get it. I know that when I say this, people are just going to come for me. I am not all that interested in continuing the Ilya Topuria retirement home tour. I'd like to see him fight someone who's not clearly past his prime like Justin Gaethje is. Gaethje's still an elite fighter. It's a great win. That's all of his wins are old great fighters who still have a lot going for them but don't have their fastball. At least Patty's young, He's not as good as them, but at least he's not like shop worn. Give me that fight over Gaethje all day.
Yeah. we can keep going. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know
All
about
right.
the Felder. Yeah.
I
I'll
don't
figure it
remember
out.
Felder doing this to Dan Hooker at all. Just be more creative than making fun of a dude for his name being Hooker. Or if you're
Okay.
going to do it, at least do it really like in a fun way, you know?
Maybe that's what Felder did when Felder fought
I
Hooker.
can't remember.
That was a
I
long
can't remember at all.
Spectacular fight, by the way. That was 2020.
Look, Paul Felder, an underrated action guy.
Oh,
That Dan
His
Hooker,
career was
Dan
very
Hooker in
weird, but-
2020 fought. So I think he fought three. He fought Felder, and I believe was supposed to be Felder's actual retirement fight.
Mm-hmm.
Then the Dustin Poirier fight happened at the Apex. That like fucking barn burner. It was the Chandler fight after that. Was that
That
all
was
2020?
January of 2021.
Okay, so that was January
It was
2021.
January.
Dude, Felder and Poirier were both absolute heaters.
Yeah, both bangers.
Yeah.
Paul Felder should have had a better career than he had.
Yeah.
At least like a more memorably, like, because he's a really fun fighter. He should be a more beloved figure than he is.
I think Paul Felder's kind of like Brian Stan, just like I ain't making that much money for the damage
Little
I'm
bit.
taking, so I'm just gonna get out and use because two gentlemen who have good brains, you know, so like I'm just gonna use that to
Little bit.
make my paycheck. So
He
So
came
it's
out of
pretty good comp.
retirement.
Brian Stan was also a very fun fighter.
He came out of
but guys got hit
retirement.
a lot, yeah. But
Paul Felder came out of retirement to fight RDA on like 3 days' notice in a main event
Yeah, I was
at
dope.
the Apex.
Paul Felder is a guy who 100% would have fought for a BMF belt if that was a thing.
Oh yeah, without question,
Underrated fun guy.
for sure.
and wonderful actor. You know, watch him in Hacks. Great actor.
Yeah. The best current commentator.
And,
Oh yeah, without question.
him and Senko.
So, yeah,
All right,
good-
thank you. We got
good career.
let's fly through these super chats. Another Dan Hooker super chat.
It's very loud inside. I know the UFC is often scummy, but are we actually collectively a bit shocked about Dan Hooker's 317 ticket cancellation after missing a UFC media obligation? He seems to think it was a desk jockey.
I had not heard
that
about the
after
story
missing
at
the
all
op-
until you guys just mentioned it.
I thought the tickets were removed and then he missed the media obligation. But maybe I'm wrong. But either way, like even if it's
No
just
idea.
like, yo, just reschedule it. Like UFC fighters miss obligations all the fucking time. It happens. But just to
If you
take
miss-
the tickets away while he's already
Is it-
there is pretty
It's still
insane.
not excusable to take his tickets away ever. It's at least like if he did at least do something like make your obligations, you know, if that's the case. I did not know about this story literally at all until you guys just said it.
They tried to get me out of bed at 7:30 in the morning. The UFC booked me for some
Grow
shit, which is 3 in the morning New Zealand time. This is Dan Hooker on Submission Radio. I didn't even go out. I had an early night, but I'm not getting out. Oh no, okay, that's true. But I'm not getting out of bed at 3 in the morning to do just about
Grow up.
anything. I slept in and I didn't go to the UFC thing. They canceled my tickets to Kai's fight. And then so it's like, I'm going to rush back and fight injured for a company that's going to cancel my tickets to the event when I've traveled all the way to Las Vegas. I would have fought injured, but then someone at a desk crossed my name off a list. You work in the office, brother. You think there would be a bit more respect there for guys who literally give their life? The amount of blood, sweat, and tears I poured into putting shows on for that company, I thought there would have been more respect there, but there's not, which is cool. Business is business. We can fight on my terms then. I'm not going to break my back for a company that doesn't respect me.
It's a little tricky. Dan Hooker got to the correct answer, which is you should not break your back for the company anyway. I don't, unless they like literally the night before they were like, hey, in 6 hours, can you do this media thing? I don't like, that's just a stone cold bullshit answer. Like it's 7:30, 3:30 my time. I slept in. If you said you're going to do it, do it. Like that's just being an adult. I do things I don't want to do all the time because I said I would do them for one reason or another. And so if like, again, I don't have all the context, so maybe there is more here. But if he agreed to do it and then was just like, I'm tired, I'm going to sleep in, it's still petty for the UFC to do that. And like you would hope that the $1 billion entity can be a little bit more magnanimous than that. But also like there's a piece of me that is a little bit like my spidey sense is up when he immediately turns to blaming a nameless desk jockey. It's like you all like, okay, why did this immediately become antagonistic to some person who you don't even know and may not even exist? That feels a little sus to me. And just to put a bow on it, sure, you are the fighter and theoretically you should be compensated more for doing that. That guy also has a job and he showed up and did his job. So I'm not really sure like why you want to come for him. It kind of feels like Dan Hooker's being like a little bit of a tool about this, but ultimately you still would hope the UFC would just be like, okay, that's annoying, but here are your tickets. It's fine.
Yeah. I wonder if they were just like, hey, you're here. And then like 11 p.m. the night before, they're like, hey, you're booked for this thing.
Yeah. And if they did that, that's shitty for sure. And then like,
we don't know.
Also, but the other thing is, again, you can just be an adult and be like, I'm not going to do that. You just be like, oh, you guys didn't give me any prep. I'm jet lagged. I'm not going to do that. The assumption here is that he said he would go and then just chose not to. And
if that's the case, then
be a goddamn grown up, man. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
What is up with the 3 a.m. call time? I don't understand that. Did someone mess up on time zones here? Like, was it a Zoom call?
I think he's saying it's 7:30, but that is
7:30 a.m. Eastern time,
but in his jet lagged brain or whatever, that's not the same. That's how I interpreted it. Again, like I would need to actually talk to him to get all the details, but basically how he presented that makes him look like he was a bit of an ass. And then the UFC did not take the high road, which you would want them to take the high road, right? Like that, you would just hope that they could be like, well, that was shitty, but like, here's a ticket. But also he was kind of an ass, it seems like.
TBD.
Yeah.
But also, again, the end point is correct. You shouldn't be set aside every part before the end. You shouldn't be doing the company a favor because companies don't do you favors largely anyway. And
that's just KG how that's worked out for him.
And your career is so specific and so limited that you should not fight compromised ever, basically. And so like he took a real roundabout way to get to the logical way to move through your career of, I'm not prepared to fight at Perth. I'm not going to fight at Perth. Like that should be the assumption you start with. He had to get there from some dubious methods, but right end point.
Thank you, Simi Noob. All right, a couple more super chats before we get out of here. Slito.
When was the last time we saw a towel thrown in quarterman stoppage in the UFC?
Dude, they don't even happen once a year.
Dude, I can't. I've been working in MMA almost 20 years. I can't do in one hand how many times.
I can't do 5.
I can't even do 5.
Somebody, maybe this year, somebody saw, they didn't throw in a towel, but the corner stopped it in between rounds.
Yeah, there's few in between rounds. Like in between rounds.
Yeah. If you're talking actual towel throw, I genuinely think I've seen it once or twice.
Like the literal towel, or getting on the cage and just
hey, no, like that's that never happens. Mm-hmm. Every once in a while, the corner will stop it in between rounds, just be like, hey man, we're not gonna let you go back out there, which is good. Do more of that. But it is the only actual towel throw I recall off the top of my head in modern MMA is Nick Diaz, Nate Diaz.
Yeah. And the ref was actually stopping the fight at.
He did not see the towel get thrown when he made the stop.
Yeah, but there was a towel thrown.
Nick threw the towel, and then they got to the cage and were doing this, and the ref's back was to them, and then he stopped it anyway.
Yeah.
Fuck. It's on. Did Cynthia Calvillo get a towel thrown? Someone beat the brakes off.
That sounds right. That sounds right.
Wasn't Natty? Was it Andrea Lee?
Hold on.
Like Andrea Lee just beat the piss out of her, like so bad, like rearranged her face. It was like
no. There wasn't a towel throw, but that is when Calvillo quit on the stool. Between rounds, between rounds, Calvillo was like, "I'm not.
You're all done."
Yeah.
No, I mean, maybe officially the team said it, but I believe she said, "I can't go back out there" or whatever. Because she busted her orbital and was like, "I can't do it." I'm like 90% sure she quit on the stool.
Yeah, I think that sounds more familiar. And I think anyone smart was like, "Oh, Cynthia did the smart thing." But of course, all the jackasses out there were like, "Oh, you can't handle this."
Oh yeah, she got raked over the coals for it.
Yeah.
But like I'm like 90% that she told her corner, "I cannot go back out there."
Oh, I'm looking it up right now. This apparently is the most recent one. UFC 271, Derek Brunson versus Jared Cannonier.
271.
Let's see.
What's the date on that?
Halfway through the second round, Brunson's cardio was nowhere to be seen.
Into 2023.
And he reverted to his old habit of leading with his chin. Before long, Cannonier had him rocked again. A short elbow in the clinch sent Brunson tumbling to the ground, and the vicious elbows that followed were enough to convince Brunson's corner to throw in the towel before the referee waved the fight off.
So that's two.
It might be the most recent.
Two.
And they're all kind of dependent on the referee just letting the fighter die. It's not an early stoppage, I guess. Like you're kind of waiting for the ref to stop the fight already. It wasn't like, because you see that boxing, we're like, oh, they stopped it already. You kind of like, but like, all right, you just kind of get over it pretty quick, but.
Dude, corner stop it in boxing so fast. It's so good.
Many times. So wild.
They're just like, dude, he ate 6 punches in a row. We're done here. Like we should legitimately do a video series of taking a boxing corner to just like, here are some MMA fights. Tell us when you'd stop it.
Yeah.
And just you would get people just like losing their mind. Like you get Floyd Mayweather Sr. being like, oh my God. Yeah. Are you trying to have crimes committed? What's happening here?
Yeah, especially if you watch the prelims on boxing. Maybe the top 2-3 fights, they'll go a little harder, but especially those early prelims, you'll see so many fights stop real fast.
Dude, they stop it in between corners for all the time. Like, yeah, man, you're just not going to win today. So
you're not going to win. That guy's just better. That guy's just better.
Literally, there are times when they'll just be like, you can't win, so we're done. There's no reason to get hit in the head because you cannot win the fight.
Yeah.
What was it? There was one fight on
Chat's saying DDP Brunson's corner threw in the towel for DDP. Do you guys, is that true?
A lot of Brunson in here.
Brunson's corner is obviously very good. I don't remember that at all.
That was UFC 285. Okay. It makes sense.
So that's 2023 almost for sure, right?
That's 2023, March 2023. Yeah. You should remember that card more than any other card of your career.
Which one is that?
That was the infamous Alexa Grasso championship victory.
Oh God, I'm not AK or not Jose. I can't. My memory is Swiss cheese.
The return of
I remember
John
things
Jones.
happening. I don't remember events or dates.
All right. Thank you, Stito. Yeah, a couple more. This one's for Jed, I think.
How many more wins for DDP? Silver is the GOAT.
I saw this and I started trying to piece it together.
He has
3 title defenses currently. If he beats Hamzat, he will have 4. Anderson has 11, should be 12. I think that's right. Or 10, should be 11. One of those. Because technically the Luder fight does not count. That's a title defense in any rational human being's book. If he beats Hamzat and gets 4 more, we can begin a conversation. But until then, we don't even need to pretend about the conversation. And again, I'm DDP's number 1 fan. If he doesn't have at least 8, like what are we even talking about? The more interesting conversation is when he beats Hamzat, where is he relative to Izzy? So I believe Izzy is the number 2 middleweight of all time. Beating Hamzat, he's probably still not, like he and Izzy at that point are neck and neck. if he gets the Hamzat win. And so that's just very interesting. We'll see. First, he's got to beat Hamzat, and then he's got to beat RDR, and then he'll be number one in my heart if he beats RDR. They're fighting for my love.
And that's what matters.
And that is what matters. But look, like Anderson Silva I know the end of his career was not as glorious as people would want, and he, if you're one of those people who says that any failed drug test is disqualifying, okay, I suppose. But the man had, and again, enormous DDP fan, was actually never a big Anderson Silva fan. You can't deny his accomplishments, his relevance to the sport, his greatness. And I will respect that greatness for a very long time.
Yeah, Izzy had 6 title defenses. You can maybe call it 7 if we're counting the win over Robert Whittaker and the unification bout, because he beat Calvin Gaston to win the interim belt.
He has 6. I know he likes to say that. It's nonsense.
I count him. But yeah,
all right.
Either way.
I mean,
you count that?
Are we counting Tom Aspinall's win over Curtis Blades?
Yeah, I count in terms. I count.
I
count in terms. They get paid the same, so I count them. They're main eventers. If the champ isn't available, the champ ain't available. Yeah. But whatever.
The champ wasn't available because of the timeline the UFC wanted. I'm just not open to that one, really.
Yeah, I don't punish the fighter for
if
that
the
one.
champ isn't available because he's fighting Stipe Miocic, who hasn't fought in 4 years, I'm more open to that one. Not we want to fight in April.
Yeah.
Sorry, you can't do it, Rob. We're going to throw an interim belt on this.
And real quick before we get out of here, this is I'm hyping Jed up here. Oh, sorry. What do you want to say before?
Oh, I was just saying, I saw Lazy in the comment say, "Isn't throwing a towel in a foul?" It is. There was like a period of time where they made that illegal, but it's no longer. I just looked it up. It's no longer listed as a foul.
I'm even trying to imagine that, like, oh no.
That's the other thing is like, oh no, you're disqualified when you quit. Like it's a nonsense illegal foul. But there was a period of time where it was. I think the answer is you can get like fined for it or whatever, because like theoretically it is a safety concern if you throw it in and then a fighter trips and tears their ACL, but that's just not like real life. So it's just, it has been removed as a foul in the unified rules.
Yeah, it was just a stupid thing that was in there. Okay. Mm-hmm. Let's hype up Judd some more.
Who is winning the fantasy league so far? A month into the season.
I knew I would be ahead early because I really had a lot of front-loaded talent. I've had how many fighters? I've had 7 fighters compete in 3 events or whatever. That's a lot. Well, that was the whole plan, and a lot of them, like specifically Kevin Holland, almost certainly will fight again. Shara Bullet, he's absolutely going to fight the Abu Dhabi return. Daniel Zellhuber, I would be shocked if he is not competing at Noche. And so it's just like that was kind of the theory, but. Aside from Kevin Holland and Daniel Zellhuber, who I hate for personal reasons outside of the fantasy league, and who both could have won, They were very winnable chances. Probably should have won.
But they didn't,
like not just before the fight, big favorites, just like in their physical fights, probably should have won them. They both got me 0 points. Everybody else has been clocking points. I was a little upset that Bogdan Guskov didn't get a bonus until I realized that actually I don't think Shara Bullet deserved fight of the night, so it kind of evens itself out there.
That's crazy. For as well as you've done, you could have done way better.
My God. I could have another 400 points, and I would have as many points as I had all of last season already. If Kevin Holland and Daniel Zellhuber had just done their goddamn jobs.
Yeah. Giant favorites you lost, but
giant favorite. Like I was so confident in both of them, and then they just didn't win.
Didn't you lose your climb on one of those guys?
Sure, Daniel. Technically, I lost it on both, but I lost the big climb on Zellhuber, and then I tried to quick start another climb, and Kevin Holland failed too. So
you did. You lost two
On the
times in
watch
one
party,
night?
I was like, hold on, I'm going to put in this bet on Kevin Holland, and then
I
it
didn't know.
immediately lost.
Yeah,
Yep.
you were too busy being at the fight, Casey.
Oh,
Yeah.
my bad.
I know you're too busy being there for Dustin's last fight.
I got another one going this weekend too. Nora Cornoli, let's go. Get it done against Carol Hosa.
And
Carol lost her last fight, right?
Yes, because she has alternated
you're
wins and losses for like 20 straight fights or something insane like that.
Oh, there's a 0 coming in your direction.
Nah, Nora's going to get her done.
Fight of the night, maybe. Maybe she gets a bonus. Who knows?
That would be dope. But yeah, basically nobody else has had people fight, and I've had 7 people fight. Yeah. So I am miles ahead right now.
I think my next one is probably Hamza, right?
Yes, I believe that is correct.
That's gonna be
technically Michael Venom Page will compete before Hamza does.
Oh yes, I get MVP on that card too, and he's gonna win. So
yeah.
So all right.
Damon has not had anyone fight. Damon has had 0 people compete, though he does have Taira this weekend.
Oh, he's Taira. Okay.
Taira's his first fighter this weekend.
He loses his ranked opponent though. He doesn't lose.
He does lose his ranked opponent, but he still gets a main event, see how it goes. Yeah, I thought people I was like Carla Judice and Fatima Klein will win. Them both getting finishes, chef's kiss.
Yeah,
that was
terrific. Dude, your Judice pick might be like low key like one of the best picks. Like you get that pretty late, and she's probably gonna fight again, and she looks good. I just picked her because Carla Judice is one of my. I think right now, other than, I'm trying to think who else I might like. I've got my boys. Carla Judice is like my one girl. I'm just hell yeah. I'm convinced she's going to be in the promotion for 10 years. She may never fight for belt. I don't know. Oh, I need to see her in like 3 years. Need to see her and Dakota Ditcheva just knife fight each other. It would just be an actual knife fight in the cage. It would be so goddamn fun. I love her so much. She got some talent for sure.
She's just a violent person. Just mean. And I love that.
Yes. All right. I think we're done, right? There it is. That music says it.
Boom.
We'll have a matchup next week because, boy, I don't know how much time it's going to take to react to UFC Vegas 108 or preview UFC Vegas 109. Don't forget PFL tomorrow.
What's UFC Vegas 109 even look like?
Logan Storley versus Thad Gene, the main event.
Thad Gene.
Big star. Power.
What?
And no one loves it. Nobody loves it.
I do like Thad Gene, but Logan Storley is an abyss of fun.
Back next week. Good night, everybody.
This has been Between the Links, an MMA fighting production on the Vox Media Network.